You live yet?
Pete, mute.
Hello to all the geek enthusiasts and nerd aficionados. It is Friday the 13th, and it is time to talk about all things Halloween. We're going to be talking about some scary films, our favorite films, and all that stuff. So we thank you guys for being here. It is Friday the 13th. We had a couple black cats cross our paths. We walked under some ladders and broke some windows, so we started a little bit later than normal. But we are here, and welcome to MaliceCast episode 30. So, thank you guys for joining us on the late start. I am here as your host, Mess5150, and joining me is three of our favorite compatriots. We have Icy Zora with us. How's it going, Icy?
Did you say some black cats crossed our path? Because I'm pretty sure I own at least one. Is that a bad thing?
Well, on Friday the 13th, I could
on
say
Friday the 13th, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
You know, I own a black cat, so he crosses my path quite literally daily, while giving me dirty looks while he does it. He's just a bit of.
Well, no, that just means he's a cat.
Yeah, I guess. We also have Super Hoobie and Freak with us. How's it going, Super?
It is going good. Been a week, but we are ready. I'm ready to talk some Friday the 13th horror. It is.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Pete looks super excited there. How's it going, Mr. Igor? If anybody's got a good Halloween name, we got Igor with us. So.
Igor.
I can't bring people back from the dead. I don't like doing it.
Hey, Master, what are you saying?
And Igor comes in quoting Aladdin. Very, very Halloween themed film.
The most Halloweeny of all the Disney movies.
Yeah.
Maybe a Hunchback. I don't know.
Yeah.
That terrified me.
I dressed up as a Hunchback one year. I actually didn't have to get a costume. It just fit.
Oh no. Oh.
But yeah, today we're going to be talking about our favorite Halloween films, what films have scared us, what we think is the best like family favorite type of films to watch, because not all of them are scary, grotesque films. And then before we get into that, we're going to talk a little bit about the Nerd Fight and where the results are at for the current Nerd Fight, which is the best new TV show. It's been a bit of a drag out fight, so if you guys haven't voted, the link is in the descriptions below to be able to go and vote if you want to get your last minute votes in.
And I am unaccountably losing.
Yeah, that's where it was not so much of a nerd fight as a nerd tickle. There wasn't that many people getting out there on Twitter and Facebook and stuff to fight for their picks. So now that we have some stuff coming back and relatively so, we have some horror films that I'm sure some of us will be big fans of to fight about. It'll be a pretty good nerd fight. I think this one coming up, which will be best Halloween franchise or best scary movie franchise. So I want to welcome everybody into the chat channel as well. We have Beth in there, Robert's in there, and Marley Baw's in there. So welcome guys to the chat. Let us know what some of your favorite Halloween films are and stuff. So before we get into that, let's get straight into what we've been geeking out about and what we've been getting our nerd on for. Icy looks very happy to talk about that, so I'll let him go first. What have you been geeking out on lately?
Over the course of the last week, not only have I been catching up on Sherlock, which is not the actual Sherlock. I'm talking about Elementary, actually. Johnny Lee Miller.
Nice.
He's a second-rate Sherlock, but it's still kind of entertaining. But the main thing that I've been nerding out on is that I rewatched Blade Runner in anticipation of going to see Blade Runner 2049. And I confirmed my suspicions that I didn't really like Blade Runner. I'm sorry.
Let's ask this. Which cut did you watch, though?
The final cut. The Ridley Scott final cut.
So not the director's cut.
Ridley Scott was the director. It was the one that, no voiceovers. It was literally everything that Ridley Scott wanted for that movie. That was the cut that I watched, and it was boring. It was slow. It was. I get why people like it, but it wasn't my style. But I watched it the day before going to see Blade Runner 2049, and even though Blade Runner 2049, what's his first name? Kevin Dennis, something like that. Villeneuve, very similar style, but oh my God, that movie was amazing. It is better than the original. If I gave the original Blade Runner an 8 out of 10 just for sci-fi classicness, the new one is a 9.5 out of 10 overall. Wow! Regardless of sci-fi-ness, it was a good movie.
So the only reason it's a 9 because Jared Leto's in it, I'm assuming.
He was. The two reasons that it wasn't a 10 out of 10 was Jared Leto. He wasn't bad, but he was Jared Leto. And the other one
wanted
is
to destroy something beautiful.
Yeah, well, and also that it was 2 hours and 45 minutes long.
Wow.
And that's strange because it actually felt paced correctly, but I think they could have done it with less.
They just needed that much to tell the story.
Who has got all that extraneous noise in the background?
Apparently, people are racing up and down my 25-mile-per-hour street outside my house. So.
Okay.
That's fantastic.
So
that's just what you want.
So if you are thinking about whether or not to go see Blade Runner 2049, do it. It's good. It's real good. Now, don't go in expecting Harrison Ford to be in the entire movie. He's not.
Hey.
And this is not a spoiler. It's not a spoiler. I'm just saying he's not throughout the whole movie. He's just not. But Gosling kills it.
Well, he is considered one of the top actors out there right now. So, even if you don't like him, he's still getting in all the big films. So, super. What have you been up to? What have you been nerding out on?
Well, this week, I literally just caught up, or I didn't catch up, I should say. I watched all the premieres for the CW to come back. So I caught Legends of Tomorrow, Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, Supernatural, Riverdale. And that was my week. It was, obviously
Riverdale?
Supernatural. Well, for me, I watched it. It's part of the CW, so I threw it in there. I watched it.
Has gotten a pretty big following, though. Honestly, it's
gotten a pretty large following.
It's
getting some love.
It's a lot better than originally expected.
Okay,
I would say that.
So I should check it out.
You should check it out.
It's worth checking out. Yeah.
It is definitely worth checking out. But I would.
If the rumors come true with what they're thinking, I would be very, very. I'm wondering how they would mix this in, because there is a rumor that by the end of this season they will actually introduce Sabrina the Teenage Witch into it, which because she's part of the Archie world.
Do you mean the character, or do you mean Melissa Joan Hart?
The character, not Melissa Joan Hart, but
the character. They're going to recast
the real world, more serious Archie. Curious if they're just going to introduce this goth chick that's Sabrina, or if it's going to be something that actually has...
That would be interesting if they keep her that poppy, bubbly, kind of spacey teen. I don't know. That might not fit with the Riverdale.
And in the chat room, they are not pleased with IC Zoral's response of Blade Runner being the original Blade Runner being boring and as not as great and stuff. They've actually said so we can vote IC Zoral off the cast.
It was slow and it was dark and it was boring. I get that was the point, but it was not a good movie. I'm sorry.
Riverdale distractions. Riverdale distractions. They're going to dial it back on Sabrina. I can call that.
Okay, they probably are. They probably are.
Because in canon, we have Archie and Friends, we have Sabrina the Teenage Witch, we have Sonic the Hedgehog, and we have the Teenage Ninja Turtles. They're going to dial it back on Sabrina.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what they do.
We're not getting the blue blur in there. They're going to dial it back on her.
Also mentioned in the chat room, we've got Molly Boss. She's reading a book that is, it just changed on me on the chat, a book that's part film noir, part, where'd it go? Dang it. Sorry, my chat shrunk down on me. Reading a book that's part film noir, part retro futurist robot sci-fi. Sounds extremely interesting. What's the name of the book? Let us know what it is and who the writer is. So, yeah. So, Igor, every week it's been Destiny 2. Is it still Destiny 2, or do we have some new stuff that we're nerding out on?
Well, last year this time in D1 they were giving out virtual candy, and we don't have any, and I'm sad. But I did watch The Void. Thank you, Big Papa Matt and your beard, wherever you are. He's the one who got me onto that one. And holy, it was good. Picture Call of Cthulhu mixed pretty evenly with the Night of the Living Dead, and you have a really good idea. It was not an expensively made movie, but my God, it was shot and lit so well, and even acted really well. Very good. Highly recommended.
Nice. I'll have to check that out. So I haven't seen that.
Netflix.
Or anything like that. So, it's on Netflix. Awesome.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you guys can go through Netflix, check that out and everything. So yeah, me on my nerding out, it's basically just been binge watching stuff to get caught up on things that I'm far behind on. Mainly Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Nice.
I gave up on it after the first season and a half, and then
it got better. It got better.
Really good going into season 3. I'm starting season 4 with
and that's where it
Ghost
gets
Rider,
worse.
and it's looking pretty bad again. Yeah, so,
And that's where it fits.
Oh.
Season 3 was really, really good though. So
after they started out that show wanting to integrate it into the MCU, and they did a really good job. The first season was nah, and then they led up to the MCU integration. Season 4 is season 4. I think feels a lot more like Inhumans. It's just not.
So I haven't watched it yet, and that's why I was going back to binge this to see if maybe
you need
it better.
You need to watch the premiere. It's just not good. We all want it to be good, but it's not.
That's something I wanted to put into that too. Is when the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. premiered, a lot of people thought that the premiere actually wasn't that good, and
which is why I'm willing to give Inhumans a little more chance, because the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., even though I believe it was directed by Joss. But Inhumans was just terrible.
And his brother is I don't know about on Inhumans, but I know on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. his brother is like one of the main writers for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Joss's brother.
Jeb, yeah.
So
now, friends, as much as I want to throw in on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., has anybody seen the ads for the New Mutants?
I have not watched the trailer. I know it came out. So
let's just say it's kind of topical, and I was surprised at how topical it is.
Is that going to be related
to the main theme we've got tonight?
Is that going to be related to?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a lot more horror centric. From what I heard.
I was surprised. I'll just put it that way.
But
I'm excited.
The comic was very, very when it came out in the 80s was very horror centric. So I think that's kind of good that they're. Okay, well,
Claremont.
Yeah, we'll check it out. Of course, another big thing dropped this week, and that was a trailer for another little small movie called Star Wars.
What's that? I haven't heard of it.
Last Jedi. Yeah,
teeny tiny.
It dropped in the middle of Monday Night Football, so you know what everybody was watching the game for this week. But I haven't watched the trailer. I don't want anything else given away. I willing to wait a month and a half.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I have seen the trailer. It doesn't give anything away. It really doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
In fact, this is one of the best sci-fi tentpole movie trailers I've ever seen, in that it really excites you for the movie without telling you even a little bit about what the story is going to be.
Nothing. Someone floats in midair.
Oh yeah, somebody needs something. Somebody else reaches out. Those are clearly not the same scenes.
Kylo Ren sticks his hand out to somebody.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We want to welcome Nancy to the chat room as well.
Hello.
So, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead and finish your. Say hi to the people.
No, that was it. That was the trailer is worth watching. Even if you're scared of trailers, this is not a trailer that gives everything away. It'll give you really cool visuals, and you still will have no idea what the story's about.
And that's one tweet I did see, is they said if nothing else, the whole trailer will have all of the most perfect shots out there in movie cinema. So they said that they knocked out the park with the look of the film and everything. So it's just beautiful on the trailer.
It looks amazing. It looks exactly like what we want it to look like, and we still don't learn anything about the plot. That's the perfect thing about the trailer. You can watch it.
Okay. I'm trying to go back and look at Marley Ball actually told us the book. There it is. So the book that Marley Ball is reading is Made to Kill by Adam Christopher. And guys, stay tuned to the website malice-corp.com. She is working on a review for it, and that will come out, and you can check it out when she gets it up there. So definitely check out malice-corp.com. That's where we have all of our articles come out when we're able to write them. And thank you guys for tuning into the podcast when we're not over there writing. So let's talk a little bit about the nerd fight that's ending tonight. So tonight's nerd fight that's ending is Best New TV Show.
I know why I lost.
It was.
We all know why you lost too.
Yeah.
CBS is a
Tell
turd
us why you
muffin.
lost.
I lost because of Big Brother. not the show specifically, but
we all lost because of that show.
well, no, it's the reason that I lost with Star Trek is because they put it on a pay-to-play service, and that's unfortunate because I have been watching this show episode by episode. It is the best show on television right now. It's freaking amazing, and they are killing it. But if you're not willing to pony up, what, $3.99 a month?
$5.99 a month.
$5.99? No, screw those guys.
It may be $3. It's for me. It's $5.99. It may be cheaper if you already have cable, but I have the Roku, so.
Well, that's why I allegedly torrent everything.
Well, on our films, we had our TV shows. We had Young Sheldon, Orville, Good Doctor, Star Trek Discovery, Me, Myself, and I, and The Gifted. And that's literally the order that everything is sitting in. Young Sheldon just doesn't look like people are excited, liking it. Orville, I can see the pluses, I can see the minuses, I see both sides of.
Diggin is, I'm sorry, Nudie Rudy is not here. I'm going to go ahead and defend that show. That show keeps getting better and better.
I see that.
It's definitely gotten better since the pilot. Is it my favorite thing ever? Probably not.
No, of course not. But if you can get past Seth MacFarlane doing Seth MacFarlane jokes, it is literally a heartwarming new age version of Next Generation.
And that's a discussion we had, is that it literally is like a Next Generation.
Igor, you look confused. Have you seen the show?
No, I was just thinking that's what Star Trek was. It was heartwarming and new agey, but with more flying drop kicks. Yeah. Yeah.
And this is heartwarming and new agey with flying drop kicks and more real dude-to-dude conversation.
They stole Professor Stein. They stole Professor Stein, damn it.
It's more realistic dialogue than Next Generation.
I can take the realistic dialogue. I see the complaints of Seth MacFarlane on camera. I understand it. He doesn't have the acting chops, in my opinion. I understand that factor, but you can take the realistic dialogue and put it onto somebody that can actually act it out. And
he's not doing a bad job. People are giving him crap because he's Seth MacFarlane. If he was a random actor that nobody had ever heard of before, they'd be like, this is a pretty funny guy. Like, look at the jokes he's making on the show. Wow, he pulls off that realistic dialogue really well. But we all know that it's Seth MacFarlane. So we're like, it's Family Guy in space.
There's truth in that, and we want to welcome the Beard is in the chat room right now saying hello from Vegas, and I actually got a compliment from the Beard himself that my beard is looking like
this
a Beard. Oh. But
my beard says thank you.
Yeah, my beard welcomes. But the Big Papa Matt is in the room. So Orville has 4 votes. The Good Doctor has 11. It jumped up quite a bit after we realized that Super Hoovian really, really wanted the Good Wife to come back to TV.
I don't even know. I was talking about the Good Wife on Twitter. I was interacting.
The show ended, and so she just decided to put her own.
Just a huge Juliana Margulies fan.
I was chatting with one of the writers from the Supernatural cast. We were
Well,
gushing
what
about
happened
The
was
Good Wife while
you
I was
got-
writing this, and
You
it
got
came
the
out
Good
The Good
Wife
Wife.
mixed up with ER, and you thought they were all the same show.
I don't
So-
even know what happened. But we can thank Nancy because she was the one that pointed it out to me on Twitter. And I was like, oh, good show. Good show.
Is that even on?
So, also Star Trek Discovery at 17. Hey, you jumped up a chunk there at the end.
Ooh.
So you got some of those.
It's a good show. Sorry,
it's a fantastic show.
It's a great show, and apologies to all the people that can't watch it because
It is literally the best show on television right now, but not. Literally the best show on television, but not everybody can watch it because they put it behind that stupid pay-to-play barrier.
Yep, and that's CBS just trying to, that's what everybody's doing. So
they think they're HBO.
Well, Disney's going to do it next when they
HBO.
pull everything from Netflix and start doing their own stuff and everything. So it's all happening.
They can kiss rocks.
Currently, we have a tie at the top, and it's The Gifted and Me, Myself, and I. The Gifted being the offshoot of the Marvel Universe with the mutants and Fox side of things. And Me, Myself, and I being a fantastic comedy that not only gives you some SNL alums and John Larroquette on there, but
Wes, were you voting every day? Is that why that is it?
And I was out there tweeting and getting likes from Bobby Moynihan.
No. You weren't. If it's at 17, those were all you.
They didn't retweet it, but they liked it. Dang it.
No, the thing is, I forgot to vote for mine every day. And
yes, I was voting every day.
There we go. That's why
I'm going to vote for mine. But it is. Have you watched the show? It's actually a funny show.
It's a funny show. It's a funny show.
You made me want to watch the show.
It's got Jaleel White, man. You've got Sparkle on it.
Screw Jaleel White. It's got John Larroquette.
Yeah.
If John Larroquette's willing to be on the show, I'm pretty sure I'm going to want to watch.
And you've got the writer of the David S. Pumpkin skit as because Bobby Moynihan.
Nope.
Oh, you're gonna love when the Halloween episode comes out right before Halloween weekend because I've got my costume, which I heard all you guys talking about what you wanted me to wear last week.
Are you saying it's David S. Pumpkins?
Oh yes, it is.
Are you gonna carry a typewriter just to tribute to Tom Hanks?
Yeah. Well, you heard? Okay, so that was news that dropped. Is there's gonna be a half-hour David S. Pumpkins cartoon special coming out.
Wow.
Where David S. Pumpkins and his skeletons teach children the meaning of Halloween. Just like the old Christmas cartoon.
I don't know what to do with that one.
I'll watch.
Interesting.
Do you see
I don't
my
have
stationary angry face here?
Yeah, I was hoping you froze that way, but unfortunately that was it.
Nope. That's the dumbest idea I've heard in about 4 years.
And Super, you're checking out the chat. What's going on in the chat? Is there any good stuff coming up?
Nancy is I was singing in response to the Epic Beards comment about your beard. I was making up Queen lyrics about how your beard was the champion. But she says that Star Trek has lost her as well because of the pay to play. She can't do that, and then she said it's not about the Star Trek universe really. It's not about the positivity and the hope for the future. It's about a secret organization that all.
Yeah, well, I believe this is what Nancy said when the show started at the beginning. She said, "Look, I would love to watch it, but pay to play, I can't do it." And
right.
Yeah, it's no. I see the rest of what she worked. It's a little political, right. And it's
a little bit.
Yeah, I get it. Star Trek is versus Star Wars. It's a different mindset, but look, they're both just fun space entertainment. And honestly, that one's the best one on TV right now. And I really regret that it's pay to play because I do not in any way suggest that people torrent that shit. But there are other ways to see the show. Is all I'm saying.
Or you can just wait till it comes out on DVD and buy the season.
Right.
But what I'm not saying is that you should torrent that shit.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
So
no,
that's
no,
what.
in no way we're saying that because if you actually want to pay to play or play to watch something, hear something, read something, go to our website, malice-corp.com, and the Audible link on there lets you select a couple free books for your first chance at listening to some books. So we know Beacon, our usual co-host who's not here tonight, loves Audible and is loving himself some Tom Sawyer, I believe, right now.
And hey, you want Star Trek? Look for Q Squared, original Trek
Oh.
and Next Generation, all at once. You sound like you know. You sound like you know.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's get into the main talk. So let's talk about some Halloween movies. Let's talk about everything Halloween,
Well.
scary stuff like that. What I want to get into, and let us know in the chat room as well, guys. What film would you say is the scariest to you that just actually scared the bejesus out of you watching? I have one because I don't really get scared by movies, but I did have one that terrified me as a child watching it in the movie theater. It's the only one that ever did it, and now when I watch it, it's ridiculously stupid. But my favorite, my movie that scared the hell out of me watching it was Event Horizon. Event Horizon,
Dude, me
freaked
too.
the heck out of me. I watch it now,
First time I saw it. First time.
It's so cheesy now.
It is. It's still like there's still. I see like the drama and why I was scared, but I got a story. Like I have never seen a whole theater freak out. But if my brother-in-law were here right now, J.K. Miguel, he got the whole theater so good. He snuck. Well, he didn't sneak out. He went to the bathroom. And he came back in and he snuck back in. And it was the scene where Sam O'Neill or whoever it was floating out of that giant black hole, like towards you. So you're all watching and you're all waiting and y'all know something's coming. No, what he did was he snuck up behind me and all he did was just barely pinch me in the side. But it freaked me out because all my attention was on the screen. So I scream. Whole theater, it's just a chain reaction. You see popcorn buckets flying, M&Ms, everyone's going, what's going on? What's going on? Who's going on? The movie's happening. Literally, the whole theater just popping, and you hear Jerry going, hee 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 hee. Wow. And for those of you that know JK,
high pitched voice.
Yeah.
You know what's great about that having traumatized you guys? You know what's great about that? You remember who the director was?
I don't actually remember who the director of
Event Horizon.
Fozzie Bear. Fozzie Bear.
Frank Oz directed Event Horizon?
Muppet?
Wow, really?
Yeah. Fozzie Bear and Yoda direct. Fozzie Bear and Miss Piggy. Oh, no, sorry, Miss Piggy, not Fozzie. Yeah.
I actually love
Am I hallucinating right now? What's happening?
Yeah,
Yes.
So yeah, that's maybe that's why I like the movie so much growing up, because I love Frank Oz as a director. So.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Yeah, wow.
Fozzie Bear, you were killing me.
He was actually. I said cut. Waka waka.
Nice. Event Horizon.
I'm just picturing Sim Neill.
Event Horizon is
standing there.
Okay, so the first time I ever got a full-on surround sound system, that is the first movie I played, and it was so much creepier with surround sound. Oh my god, you could hear everything.
Yeah, that movie utterly.
Actually, that one did not creep me out very much, but I loved what one review I saw not too long ago pointed out. You can tell exactly where things ended up on the cutting room floor if you slow down that pit of hell scene at the end, because everything that you see in that, you go,
I blacked all of that out.
Frame by frame is nothing compared to what's in the rest of the movie by orders of magnitude. But, ooh. Well, I'm not describing. There might be kids watching. I'm not describing. No.
What about you?
So what are you guys talking about now? I couldn't.
Care Bears the movie. Care Bears.
Oh good, so much better.
That was terrifying.
When I was a kid, actually, legitimately, it was terrifying. When I was a very small child, that movie was terrifying.
Care Bears?
Care Bears too.
When I was
they actually did have some cool evil lizards.
Yeah. Terrifying.
What movie would you say is the scariest to you, Super Hoovian?
Well, I mean, Event Horizon was probably one of the more memorable ones, but I mean, if I have to, well, I don't know if this counts as a Halloween movie. I don't even know if it counts as a scary movie, but I've always been a huge fan of Silence of the Lambs. That really counts as a terrifying movie, but it was a psychological thriller.
Oh yeah, it definitely counts. It's still considered a horror.
So that is one of my all-time favorites. I mean, Anthony Hopkins in that movie was just, Clarice,
Can you hear them, Clarice? Can you hear the silence of the lambs?
I get chills every time.
We do have some comments in the chat. So Marley Ba will always be afraid of Blair Witch. Her friend insisted on finishing it as kids, not watch. Oh no, she was halfway done. So she watched it in a creepy basement as a kid for a sleepover.
Well, that's a problem.
Oh my God.
In the first place, never watch anything in a creepy basement. It's going to be bad.
I know.
Whoever brought up 28 days or 28 weeks later being good.
If you're going to watch it in a creepy basement, you're going to have a bad time.
Love the first one. Never saw the second one, but love the first one.
We've got some
28 days later
being mentioned.
The 28 days movies were solid.
Oh, yeah. Beth brings up Nosferatu. Marley also brings up The Exorcist.
Exorcist is classic. We're not gonna lie.
It took me 3 times to get through Exorcist. Granted, I watched them when I was a teenager.
Robert said the last movie to give him a nightmare when he was a kid was Gremlins.
Really? Gremlins?
Maybe it's just
really.
I honestly think
it's like Muppets. It's Muppets, dude.
Hey, Gremlins is actually a pretty,
no.
It's got some.
It's a fantastic movie, but those are Muppets.
It was pretty dark for a family film, though. For a Christmas family film.
Oh no, for sure. Her dad dies in the chimney. There's no way it's not a dark movie. And the lady gets shot off the elevator stair thing. It's definitely a dark movie. It's not a scary movie. They're Muppets. Muppets.
Hey,
I don't know. The Dark Crystal.
I have a friend that will not watch the Muppets because the Muppets terrify him.
Well, the Muppets are kind of scary.
Inanimate objects should not be talking like that.
It's all,
Sorry.
No, you're all good. It really is sometimes who you watch the movies with that make you enjoy it more. Because, like, I could see your point about The Exorcist. It can get a little draggy, and the parts that are scary are built around some parts that, drag. But we went and saw it again. Maybe you just all got to see movies with J.K. Miguel because he makes the experience more fun. No, we went and saw The Exorcist. It was re-released in theaters, and I guess one of our friends, she passed out due to like perfume or something, and she was like twitching in her seat in the part where he goes in to do The Exorcist, and Jerry turned around to talk to her, and he sees her twitching, and he literally just pulls out a thing of water and starts going, "The power of Christ compels you."
I need an old priest and a young priest.
And so maybe y'all just should see movies with JK because
it's
memorable.
It's a fun experience, yeah.
The one that scared me the most as a kid. This is something that nobody else is gonna find it the same. Candyman 2. It's a guy that got murdered by bees.
Candyman.
Yeah. And this is the
Candyman.
I never saw the original Candyman, but my douchebag stepfather was like, "Hey, you've never seen Candyman? Let's show you Candyman 2." I went about halfway through the movie to the point where somebody got their throat slit by a hook and bees came out, and then I went and read the Bible for the rest of the night.
Sounds like my reactions when I was a kid.
No,
I didn't even get to the movies. I had nightmares about the damn commercials.
Yeah, no, I just thought reading, being near something holy was going to keep me safer.
So here's the funny thing, Robert. In iteration to Gremlins not being funny, he said that he saw Creepshow as a child in the theater and wasn't scared of that, but was scared of the Gremlins.
Robert, you might be weird, dude. I'm sorry, but you might be weird.
Yeah, that's a strange take.
Welcome to the show. I mean, right now, let's get things started on this.
He's welcome amongst all of us nerds and
but
geeks
seriously,
and weirdos.
a demon man with a hook and bees.
Oh,
That doesn't
yeah.
scare anybody? Like bees, dude, bees.
Actually, I didn't like those movies, but I thought he was creepy. I thought the character himself was creepy.
And he's an actually
He just
really
plays
good
creepy
actor.
guys now. He's a good actor, but that's all he plays now is creepy guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Anytime you see that dude as a character actor in an episodic show, you're like, that's the bad guy. That one. Yep.
Or it throw you off the trail type of thing. So, but
no, it's never that. He's always the bad guy.
he's always the bad guy.
Where?
I think I've seen him as a homeless guy once, where everybody thought he was the bad guy and he wasn't. So
Nobody was.
Just some homeless dude.
The old
Just a really mean homeless
we've
dude.
got
Might have been the homeless guy, but he actually killed the guy.
we've got the original black and white Family Opera being creepy, not considered technically a horror film. They said
No, but it was creepy. I'll give her that. It was. A lot of things in black and white are just creepy on the fact that they're filmed in black and white, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And no, Robert, I do not find Dr. Giggles creepy at all. That
Well,
movie
and that's a good question. Like, do we consider the old movies like Nosferatu and the original horror movies?
Well,
I
what
guess-
about like Lon
Absolutely.
Chaney as Wolfman?
They brought up, yeah, they said.
Because in modern technology, modern movies, we don't consider that stuff scary anymore. But do they still count?
Yeah, psychologically, it was more. I mean, let's take the original Alien. The original Alien
Again,
is
Ridley
terrifying. It's terrifying, but that's because it was more of what your mind was thinking. They purposely left the alien out of scenes because they knew it would make it look dumbed down and stuff because they couldn't get the effects that they wanted to. But if they kept it dark in there and let your mind perceive what was.
Well, and
that made it-
this is what I was saying about the original Blade Runner. It's like Ridley Scott had that pacing. He had that quiet, calm, slow pacing. He would let you put stuff into your own mind. And that was brilliant. The Blade Runner wasn't my style. The original Alien, Ridley Scott, that's a masterpiece. That is a horror masterpiece. That is psychological terror. Because you are coming up with everything worse than he could possibly have come up with in your mind.
It's about the pacing. It's how much he left the imagination. I'd say they hold up if they were done well. Like these guys.
Well,
great atmosphere. Great
absolutely.
pacing. Actually still kind of creepy to this day. I saw it for the first time when I was 37. It was a little creepy. Christopher
That was
Lee is
yesterday,
considered yes, considered one of the greats of horror.
Mhm.
This is a movie about a Neanderthal in the Orient Express. Literally, a caveman thaws out and starts killing people on a train.
Wait, you said already?
That's from one of our horror class. Yeah. Yeah, it's actually on. Oh no, sorry, on the Trans-Siberian Express. Excuse me.
Oh, okay,
Right.
But still, it's about a caveman on a train, and that's from one of our horror greats. So
Hey, no.
it depends on the movie. It depends on the movie, I would say. Yeah.
Okay, so where does, to think on that, like directors and stuff, does Hitchcock stand in a league of his own
Yes.
Yeah.
as far as horror goes? I think so.
Mhm.
I think so.
Absolutely.
The Birds was terrifying to me as a child. Absolutely terrifying.
Hitchcock is always, in any question, always on a stage of his own. Hitchcock was a genius. He was an auteur. He was a one of a kind.
Right. I'm gonna plug. The Psych movie here because
Yes,
they did
please.
an episode. They did an episode that honored all of Hitchcock's film. I don't know if anyone's seen it for Psych films, but they had an episode. It was called An Evening with Mr. Yang, and it was about
Such
a
a
serial
fan of
killer. Love it. But what they did was they literally had this serial killer who recreated all of Hitchcock's parts of the props and brought them into it. So they had Eddie's bar, they had the room with the rocking chair where he was watching everything. They had the car, and then he had like the car and it had the background and it was playing Hitchcock movies during it, and it was epic. So even if you don't like Psych, I recommend just going and watching that episode in An Evening with
And
Mr.
there is
Yang.
no reason to not like Psych. That show is brilliant.
There is no reason. It was brilliant. And that was one of its more brilliant episodes.
It continues to be brilliant.
They did a lot
It's
of.
got a
They
movie.
actually
They've got a movie.
referenced quite a few because they did that one. They did an episode tributing Friday the 13th. Tuesday the 17th. They did
Mhm.
one for The Shining. Here's Lassie.
James
Some of the
Roday,
stuff-
Dulé Hill, Timothy not Oliphant.
Amundsen.
Amundsen, yeah. These amazing actors, and this is just a fun to watch show.
Yeah.
So if you just to chime in real quick, if you guys are not here live, you guys have to come to these casts live. Our comedy relief is coming from our producer, Mr. Jack Malice. Some in comments to some of the stuff going on, talking about Wolfman having nards and
Small tiny wolf.
I know that reference.
I am sick of these mother effing cavemen on this mother effing train.
It's a real movie, folks.
Yeah, so we got they mentioned Mimic. I love Nancy's comment. The scariest thing that she watches is the news.
Dude,
And that's
that is
on a daily
joke.
basis.
That is no joke right
The
now.
original Alien was a game changer in horror from Robert. Yeah, there's a lot of great comments going on in the chat channel. There's so many great ones that I can't just. I think we could have a podcast of just sitting here, just reading the chat room.
Absolutely. Well,
and
and we could have a podcast just on what are the scariest movies of all time.
I agree on
No.
this. I have to
Yeah.
comment on this one really quick because I agree on this one when you talk about classics, 100% on being great films, no matter how cheesy they look now, and being scary. The original Godzilla with Raymond Burr and then the giant ants.
Yes.
Those movies from the 50s and 60s, they're still amazing for what
They're still great.
yeah,
still
especially
great.
them is
Yeah. I mean, my
I
personal
always-
favorite was Godzilla versus Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, but that's just me.
I always watch them with an eye to the fact that some of those people thought that the thing was actually going to come out of the screen at them,
Exactly. Slither.
which
we're
makes me
getting-
think they were dumb. But that's my modern.
and apparently Jack didn't hear us talking earlier, but he keeps yelling Event Horizon. Talking about for like 20 minutes. I think he's still scared.
So he missed a good 5-minute segment of the podcast.
Yeah,
Well,
he'll catch it though. He'll catch it when he goes back to edit. But I'll give the shout out from the Big Papa Matt and from Beth in the chat channel. They're talking about Slither. If y'all haven't seen it, it's a crazy movie. Nathan Fillion. My friends made me watch it. They're like, you love Nathan Fillion. I'm like, but I hate zombies. And they're like, but you love Nathan Fillion. And I'm like, but, and they literally sat on me until I watched it.
But if not for Slither, then we would never
I'm
have
sorry.
had
Wait. Super. Did they literally sit on you?
They did. No, they literally put me on the couch, and one person that was much bigger than I was sat on my lap.
They literally sit on you.
And they sat both two people to the side.
Good
So,
on them.
other than
It's like,
dying of
all right.
asphyxiation, how was the movie? What did you end up thinking? Now I'm curious.
It was interesting. I wish I could forget that big chick that ate all the things that was popping out of the wall. That is the only thing I wish I could
Talking
forget.
about the butt that was sitting on you, or the movie?
Yeah. No, the movie. I'm so hungry.
Yeah.
We're gonna need to edit later.
I like this. I like this. The way it's explained Event Horizon from Robert is Event Horizon to him is Hellraiser in space.
Oh, absolutely.
That was Hellraiser 5.
Yeah,
That was Hellraiser 5. I wish I were kidding.
No, you're not wrong.
Or was it 6? It was either 5 or 6.
I think 5.
The Beard Big Papa Matt said Exorcist is the scariest film to date, hands down, still for him. So,
Good call.
Nancy says the scariest thing for me in movies are the natural.
I have some more questions.
Moving too
about
fast.
movies, but,
Natural disaster movies. There's.
I
no
have some more
scare.
questions. I have some
Go
more
for it.
questions about movies, but Wes, I would like you to go with what you were about to ask.
What was I about to ask?
Yeah.
No. Well, what I was about to say, if not for Slither, we would have never had Guardians of the Galaxy. Because remember, that's what put
Right.
James Gunn on the map.
Right, you
Yes,
are correct.
true.
You are correct.
Um,
And it wasn't bad.
It certainly wasn't Scooby-Doo.
oh no, it wasn't.
it. I riff on it a little bit, but it really was entertaining.
But the question I do want to ask now, moving on, we know what the movies are that scare us and stuff. What's your favorite Halloween movie when it comes to October and it's time like I need to put a movie in and watch, whether it's a film or a series, your favorite Halloween film or favorite thing to watch? I see he's cracking his knuckles, so I'm gonna let him take this one first.
Dude,
well,
go right ahead.
I got two. I got my favorite and what's actually the scariest. My personal favorite, it's dumb. A scary movie. Come on.
Really?
Yeah. No, it's not even. It's not. And that is the correct response. Absolutely. I love it. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. And it's based on the dumbest, funniest scary movie. But what is the actual scariest movie? Dude, there's only one movie that ever made my ex-stepwife and me have the kids sleep in the bed.
Because you wanted them to protect you.
No, it's the one time I allowed the child to sleep in the bed. Chucky.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Chucky.
Funny story about Chucky.
Chucky's a little terrifying.
I
hate creepy doll movies.
So
Chucky, that plays on all the childhood fears.
well, what makes Chucky more scary was that a bunch of kids when we were growing up had My Buddy dolls, which was what Chucky was.
Yeah. Yes. My buddy and me.
Wherever he goes, I go.
And my kid didn't grow up with that. He's 10 now. He was, I think, 8 when we showed it to him on Halloween 2 years ago. And that was the only time that we have ever allowed him to sleep in the bed. Because he was terrified that a doll was going to come get him.
When I was growing up, I hadn't seen Child's Play, but I knew who Chucky was and stuff like that. My neighbor across the street, who I hung out with all the time, stayed at someone's house, and it terrified the hell out of them because they had a Chucky alarm clock, which was Chucky on a stand.
They had a Chucky alarm clock?
Yes, it was Chucky on a stand with a knife, and in the middle of the night, he would turn and be like, "I'm coming to get you," and start like swinging his arm, and he didn't know the alarm was set.
What kind of demented people did you grow up near?
He didn't know the alarm was set, so the kids just up and bolted out of the room, running out of the house. So,
this explains so much about you. That's all I'm saying.
He told me the story, and I was like, "That's absolutely hilarious."
Yeah, it was your friend that had an alarm clock. Yeah, sure.
We've definitely got for favorite things to watch during Halloween time. Hocus Pocus.
Dude,
That's become a tradition.
It's not Halloween for me unless I watch Hocus Pocus.
And Big Papa Matt definitely agrees with you, Igor, on The Void.
Thanks again, Papa Matt.
Go check it out on Netflix, he said. We still got all those disaster movies, Day After Tomorrow, 2012. Robert brings up The Hitcher. And definitely, I agree with this. So this is one of my must-watch during Halloween time. Cult classic, Monster Squad. If you haven't seen Monster Squad, check out Monster Squad.
Nothing wrong with that.
Oh,
Nothing wrong with that.
Fantastic.
I haven't even heard of it.
Oh, 80s movie, 80s cheese as 80s cheese can be.
Oh, you will. You will.
Dracula,
I love
and
80s.
Frankenstein's monster, and teenage kids having to fight against the Dracula and the Wolfman, and
That sounds terrible.
Oh, it is horrible, but it is
Zorro?
fantastic cheese.
Have you ever wanted to see Dracula backhand an 8-year-old? Because you can.
Yeah, I really
You
have.
can.
Okay, then.
It is classy. Super classy.
Oh,
But Dracula backhanding an 8-year-old in a classy way. Okay, I get it. Yeah.
We're still missing.
Man.
We're still missing one very crucial movie for Halloween.
Yes,
Cooper, give us,
Right, right.
give us
Well,
what's yours.
we haven't even run through all the list.
Yeah.
How? Where? The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
No, you
Oh, there it
no,
is.
you're not counted. You're out. Gone.
Hey,
It was
What?
it was my
Linus
dad.
always told me.
No, we're going scary movies, Sarah.
Well,
No,
we're
no, no,
talking-
no,
we're
no. He
talking
said
Halloween
straight Halloween. Straight
Okay.
Halloween movie.
We're talking movies
Yeah.
you made in October, and you need
Yeah.
to watch for Halloween time. That's what we've done.
That one's not scary, no. But it was a classic in the Amrich household.
We've got the
I'm telling you what.
That's still a beautiful thing. I
Um,
was about to say, Linus would never lie to me. The Great Pumpkin's
So,
here to
no,
help us.
If you leave your face like
I'm
that,
sorry,
has
but
anybody ever told you it'll stay like that?
for people that know my father, you would know that he is the living embodiment of Charlie Brown, and literally he is just. I mean, he is a Peanuts fanatic, Peanuts and Muppets, but Peanuts fanatic, and we literally it was Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Any Charlie Brown movie that you could possibly find, my dad would find it and we would watch it.
See, I like him already, but I'm a little disappointed because for some reason I thought you were about to say he's the living embodiment of the Great Pumpkin, and I was riveted because I thought, how do you do that? How do people do that? Tell me more.
No.
He's the living embodiment of the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
So, but that was definitely a Halloween classic in our household growing up. But no, it is not scary. I will give you that.
Did he ever hold a football for you to kick?
Yes. And no, he never pulled it away because he doesn't know how to be mean. So
Another major classic that Jack brings up in the chat, Disney's Sleepy Hollow, the cartoon,
Yes.
with Mr. Toad as well on it. But that is a fantastic. If you can, go ahead.
Can we talk a little bit about the classic horror movies that just aren't actually scary?
Yeah.
For instance, Halloween, not scary.
You don't find Halloween scary at all.
Not even a little bit. The original Friday the 13th, not scary.
Oh yes,
No.
I don't think the Friday the 13th is scary at all.
I don't think any of those slasher flicks were scary. Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Scream is not scary,
No.
but is a fantastic film.
It's a good movie.
The first Scream, the writing for the first Scream, oh my God, is fantastic.
It was great.
Even 2 wasn't
great.
terrible, but
3 was kind of
when Jay and Silent Bob showed up in it, that's when you knew it was not too far.
I'm sorry if I pick something other than Scream as my pick. Scream was what I meant. No, because I think I said scary movie. Scream was what I meant. No, the whole meta nature of that thing was just fantastic. But the old scary movies, Halloween wasn't scary. Friday the First.
I can see it being scary.
No,
I can see Halloween being it
really
didn't scare me, but
Halloween was an hour and a half of somebody's stalking me, and I can see him coming. Oh wait, he's outside the house. I'm dead. It was terrible. It was terrible. What were the other ones?
Halloween 2. Have you ever seen Halloween 2?
No.
Oh my God, you need to see that movie.
I gave up after first terrible.
No, so did they. So did they. Trust me. It is. There's death rays involved. You need to watch it. It's terrific. It's so strange. Even on a scale of Dracula to Muppets, it's so strange. It's watch it.
Wait, no. 2 new things in my life. One is our death rays involved, and second, on a scale from death rays to Muppets. From Dracula to Muppets. Holy crap.
So once again, for really bad films to watch, what always gets you good through that type of stuff is a little bit of a concoction that uses barley and hops. And if you're in the San Diego area, a great place to go to help you get through those is Battle Mage Brewery. So if you're watching movies that go from Dracula to Muppets, that's a great place to check out.
When spooks have a midnight jamboree, they break it up with fiendish glee.
We've got Jason X being the worst
Apart from
ever.
singing, that is maybe my favorite catchphrase that I'm going to use from now on.
That's funny.
The movie
So
is that weird. It is that weird.
So this has traversed into bad horror films. So we have Leprechaun being mentioned, Leprechaun 4 in Space, Jason X, worst movie ever, Jason in Space.
What's that?
That was glorious.
I like Jason X just for the deaths, man. They had some epic freaking the freezing the guy's head and bashing it.
If you want to go worst horror movies ever, you got to get into the later Saw franchise.
Oh God! Yes.
What was that one that had Catherine Zeta-Jones in it? It was supposed to be. They were like in a haunted house. It had the freaky angel babies that like turned the haunting. I had such high hopes for that movie, and it was such a letdown.
The original is amazing. Never go near that freaking movie.
So a story about the original. The original was made specifically for theaters, so that when you were watching them, the theaters had little zappers and like shaking things and stuff. This was back in the 40s or something. So you're watching a movie and it'll shock you all of a sudden. You were scared the hell. yeah. So to feel things moving and stuff. Yeah.
And Zorro, you actually reminded me of that earlier when you were talking about people thinking it's going to come out of the screen. That was a thing for over a decade. People loved doing that.
Yeah.
They would have guys charge out in costumes. They'd have nurses sitting out front to have you sign a waiver if you died.
But it didn't actually happen.
No.
So most of the time.
Because we're getting close to that hour, before we go into the nerd fight for best horror franchise, best movie franchise, you mad because you got to pick third? Sorry, making that face. Hey, it's better than picking last like normal.
Do we have enough time for me to?
I did okay.
Do we have enough time for me to throw in one other genuinely creepy one?
Absolutely, because the last thing we're going to talk about once you finish this, we just want to talk about what are the best family favorite films. We already know Super with Charlie Brown, but I want to get some people's thoughts on best family favorite horror Halloween films. Just so.
Wait, we're going family favorite horror?
Well, then I'll throw
Halloween.
I'll go from my favorite creepy movie to my favorite family Halloween movie. Mm-hmm. John Carpenter's The Thing, and as much as it is sacrilege to talk about remakes as being the amazing.
No, it's a fantastic
movie. Watch the DVD for the special features. You gotta hear what happened while they were making those special effects, not just how they made them. It's a wonder any of those people are alive. Dead serious.
Well, and specifically the 80s John Carpenter's The Thing, not the remake of John Carpenter's The Thing in the 2000s.
The one that actually had John Carpenter and Kurt Russell and Wilford Brimley.
Yeah.
They had 3 bits of music in the entire film, just to give you an idea. There was only a score at the very beginning, a score at the very end, and then there was one song playing about a quarter of the way through that was very subtly not subtle at all on theme. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. It's a great movie.
Great, amazing movie.
But I would say best family, scary movie I've ever run into has to go to Disney's Sleepy Hollow, because just the way they set up the Headless Horseman and literally the atmosphere, just the appropriately timed wind howls and everything. As much as they Bugs Bunnied up Ichabod's reactions, they were these genuinely creepy sounds juxtaposed with him mugging for the camera. And also had only one song, which is weird for any Disney animated feature, but that one song is still one of the catchiest they've ever thrown out, and it's Disney I'm talking about. So that's something.
Yeah. No, I agree. So you got such an angry looking face on your face, Zorro. Do you have a family favorite Halloween film that we can help the kiddies get into Halloween films for?
Well, are we doing it
doesn't have to be scary. Just what's a tradition that you would say if it was a family thing that you're going to sit down and watch?
Scream. Absolutely. Scream is the
It's a great
most-
family film.
It is absolutely. It's so meta.
Yeah.
It describes what's happening as it's happening, and I love that movie so much.
And it gave us Jamie Kennedy.
Well, Jamie Kennedy was famous, air quotes, as that movie came around. But seriously, Scream was a game changer. It was a horror movie that wasn't a horror movie. It was a horror movie that had all the tropes.
It was making fun of horror movies.
Exactly. It had all the tropes of a horror movie. The pretty girl got killed real quick. But the guy described what was going to happen as it happened. And then he described how he was going to get killed in the next movie. It was random and fun. And it was like, if you like horror movies, oh my God, watch this. This is going to be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Scream was an iconic movie.
And before I mention mine, brought up in the chat just recently, Lost Boys, fantastic for Halloween time.
Yeah.
Yes, by Robert brought that up. I love Lost Boys, and I talk about the cheese. The cheese is there, especially the shirtless saxophone player at the beginning.
Shirtless, sweaty, just oh, so good. That was straight 80s.
If you can get your hands on it, there's only one website that I found that will actually rip it to DVD for you.
Star?
No. Mickey's Halloween Treat. Mickey's Halloween Treat is a fantastic family-oriented.
It is. It is.
One
of my favorites.
Has a skeleton dance on it, which was the first Silly Symphonies, which is, if you've never seen the skeleton dance, it is a must. It's only a few minutes long, but if you can find it on YouTube or something like that, look it up.
Actually, YouTube folks will know that one just because of spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. It's always played to that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You've got that. You've got the Huey, Dewey, and Louie, where they're dealing with the ghosts and the witch. You've got the Mickey, where he's basically the Ghostbusters going into the haunted house dealing with the ghosts, him and Goofy and Donald. There was so many great Halloween themed cartoons on that, and then you've got a really weird, creepy jack-o'-lantern face guy talking. So if you can find it, it's called Mickey's Halloween Treat. It's really hard to find. There is a website out there that does get you the DVDs that you can get. Just look it up, and I found it, and he'll rip it for you. But that's the big family classic here. That and Nightmare Before Christmas, but that extends into Christmas as well. So you can't go wrong with Danny Elfman. So.
Well, I love Danny Elfman, but there's more classics for Halloween.
There's tons of classics. And that's what I want to know, what your guys' classics are, because we don't have enough time to keep talking all night. So if you guys have other classics, if you watch this cast later when it's not live, please comment below. What are some things that we should watch? What are some things we should check out? What are some things that you think other people should check out, and what are your favorites? So please put those in the comments below. Keep the conversation going. Let's get into our nerd fight, which is going to be the best horror franchises. I would love to see the chat room bring that up.
Chad, what do you think?
Have we done the best horror franchise?
No, we haven't.
No.
So.
Because I'm ready.
You're right.
Is it the same set of movies?
Well, I don't know who we should we Rochambeau to go for, because we tied.
Well, let's start from the top and go to the bottom, as we normally do.
Well, that's the thing. Me and Super are tied.
If we're tied, but who gets to pick? Does whoever get to pick first have to write the article?
Yes.
I want to go first. I want to go first.
So Super's going first. Yeah, I can write it. If
I nominate Wes.
No, I was just saying I have been writing quite a few of those lately.
I'll go because this is something of my genre.
Wes, you win.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm gonna go with my favorite horror character for a series that's gotten multiple films, and maybe he's not scary, but good. He's classic. I'm going Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm going Freddy for the best horror franchise out there.
Going
Robert
Freddy.
Englund is amazing. Yes, he got very corny at times with the stuff, but that's what they did. They went over the top with it. It did get out of Wes Craven's hands. He only had his hands in the first film, and then after that, they took it away from him because it was too popular, and he never retained the rights. So, but unless somebody just voted.
Yeah.
So
It was not me. Was not me.
because I just refreshed. Yeah, somebody just voted. But if you want to take it from me, you can.
What was it for? What was it for? What was it for? I'm just curious.
Somebody voted for The Gifted. Put it ahead by one. Nobody wants to vote for Jaleel White apparently. And John Larroquette. So come on. We're giving Urkel a job. You guys should be voting for me, myself, and I.
Sarah, I believe you're.
I'll write I'm taking Nightmare on Elm Street. Sarah.
Does this technically count as a franchise because it's had more than one entity made of it? Psycho? It's at Psycho, Psycho 2, The Bates Motel.
That's horror film or franchise, yeah. No, and there actually was more than one Psycho film.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, because like I said earlier, I think Alfred Hitchcock was the top of the top, the cream of the crop, and Psycho is a classic for a reason. And I think it was just, although it did scare me. It definitely scared me the first few times I saw it. But to me, it's just a master story. He's a master storyteller in all of his movies. So I'm gonna go with Psycho.
Oh, for sure.
Okay. I see.
Why am I having a mental? It's not scary. It's
You going Scream again?
Yep, Scream. That's the one. Yep.
Okay.
Scream. The entire Scream franchise.
We now know that IC's is a fanatic for Scream. He loves the franchise.
It's such a good franchise. Well, the first two.
The first two are fantastic. I will agree with you on that.
And, the first two. As long as it's directed by the Wayans, it's good.
Oh, you're talking Scary Movie.
Oh no, you're right.
That's the Wayans.
No. Yeah. No, that's Scary Movie. No, I actually just Scream. Scream is so good. It's such a brilliant take on. It's a meta take on all the movies that have been trying to scare you, and they take all the shit and just wrap it up and screw it down into your head.
Yes.
He's good times.
Too much tongue in the Nightmare on Elm Street's film, says Big Papa Matt in the chat. So,
yeah.
I need something from the chat room, but before we get there, let's go with Igor. What would you say?
I'm going to go for a little bit of a dark horse these days, but arguably the 80s were the last time that you could really say that monster movies were horror movies, because I know that's a big debate these days in the fandoms, but dang it, I have to give it to Predator.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Predator 2, even Predators with Adrian Brody and Lawrence Fishburne.
I like
that. That was pretty daggone cool.
No, not the new Predator. No.
The one with the one with Adrian Brody where they're trapped on the planet. That one actually was
Adrian Brody.
None of them really.
That was the new one.
One of the newest, yeah.
None of the three really scared me, but they were all really good. They were all really good at keeping the tension up, even though you knew he was coming. Probably partly because you knew he was coming, and you couldn't see him. They kept that balanced, even when they went literally all sci-fi and futuristic with Danny Glover in Part 2.
Part 2 is nothing. Part 1 is one of the best films that's ever happened. You saying Adrian Glover? Oh my God, that hurts me a little.
Well, remember, we're going franchise. I'm not saying that was the best one. I'm just saying that all three had something to enjoy. So that franchise,
Adrian Brody. Oh man, no, that was a terrible movie. It was a terrible.
Robert Rodriguez, man. The chat room has spoken. They have their pick. They're taking the Alien franchise. So,
Nice.
Scott.
I'm against you, Chet.
So,
I still remember being a kid and us going nuts over the fact
and
that.
they're having.
Did you see the Predator shit?
They're having fun talking about Zorro in the chat room as well.
Oh boy.
So.
I remember being a kid and everybody going nuts over seeing an alien skull in the Predator ship. That just blew our fragile little minds back then.
And I'm sure people will be very mad that we don't have Friday the 13th and Halloween on this list.
Those are both terrible movies.
I know, but they're classics franchises, so.
But they are also actually terrible movies.
That's part of why they're classic.
But thank you guys so much for joining us to talk about Halloween stuff. Next week, Jack, we got a choice also from our producer, from Jack. He's getting mad. He got his choice in there. He wants the Howling franchise in there. So, yeah.
That's another part 2. You need to see. I'll just leave it at that.
That's a part 2.
Yeah.
So we'll add the Howling franchise into the list. Hey, it's a nerd fight. It's what nerds like. It's not generally the mainstream that's gonna choose all these. And IC is very confused by his thumbs down. It looks like
It's so bad.
It's pretty bad. Thank you guys for coming and joining us. Next week, I think we're going to be talking about our nerd icon, which I have no idea who we're choosing yet. We're going to look
For
through
November?
the birthdays. No, for October. We're still in October.
Oh man, did we do 2? Are we doing 2 nerd icons for
That one's for
October?
No, we've already
Did we
done
not?
October.
Who do we do?
Did we do? Who was
Bill
Bill Murray?
Bill Murray wasn't born in October. He was born in September. We did that for September.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Never mind.
It just felt like October.
Folks, this is why I'm the host. I'm paying attention to what's going on.
Clearly,
She's just thinking Ghostbusters. It's okay.
clearly, you know what's happening.
I have my vote for who I think our nerd icon should be. His
Are we doing
initials
Weird
are
Al?
DDT, and he makes fantastic movies, including my Hellboy. But we'll see if everybody else decides to do that as well.
Are we Weird Al? Weird Al.
Oh, we can. Yeah, I think we can talk about that as well. It might be Weird Al.
Yes. Are we done?
We are finishing up for the day, so let's talk about where we can follow everybody. You can follow the website at malice-corp.com. Go there, check out the Amazon links and stuff. It helps us out. Get Audible, read some of your scary books, have them read to you. It does definitely help us out. And you can follow the producer. You can follow our producer on Twitter at Jack Malice, who had all the wonderful comments in the chat today. Where can we follow you, Mr. Zorro?
I am at IC Zorro on not only Instagram but also Facebook, I think. I don't know. Whatever. Wherever.
It's a good thing we're ending now. Super. Where can we follow you?
Follow me on Twitter at SuperHoovyandNut. Everything is starting to ramp up over there now that Supernatural's back, so
It's
going to be
She's
going to be
very
some
good.
good times.
She's a very good, fun follow.
Good times. Good times will be had by all.
Before we finish
yeah.
this, I have to mention this because the beard is getting very, very angry. He keeps bringing it up. I almost don't want to mention it just because he's constantly talking about it. He has brought
Well,
up
she should
13
have been
Ghosts.
here then.
He's been bringing up 13 Ghosts a number of times.
Scooby-Doo?
No, the
Oh, right.
film. So with Elizabeth, whatever her name was from American Pie, that was the foreign exchange student, and she got popular there for a little while.
Can I get up to get food?
Yes, you can. And Nathan Lillard. I love 13 Ghosts. I think it's a fantastic film.
Lillard. Yes.
Matthew Lillard. And the original is fantastic too. Another very under the radar, old style film, but that's one to check out. It does have some fantastic makeup in 13 Ghosts for the different ghosts of the film.
And the setting.
13
The setting's pretty cool.
So
Matthew Lillard in 13 Guests. That's one of the things I was thinking about.
think that's the only reason that Big Papa Matt kept mentioning it is because Matthew Lillard's in it, and there was another Matt in there, and he just wanted to keep.
Yeah.
And Shannon Elizabeth, yes, Shannon Elizabeth is who we were talking
I will
about.
admit I do
So-
like Matthew Lillard. I enjoy his movies, which is weird because he's not usually my kind of humor, but he makes it work, dude.
It's okay, but we need to wrap it up. So where can we follow you, Igor?
Well, please come join us for the fun in Malice Corp, the clan on Destiny 2. Or if not, if you're just going to shoot us in Crucible, at least say hi before you shoot us. And Marvel's doing a big story reset. I'm going to have a little bit of writing to say about that. Not to mention non-Destiny 2 itself as well. So watch the site, please.
And thank you so much for that. Thank you guys for joining us. Make sure that if you like this video, you hit that like button. If you've never seen this before and you want to see more of our crazy antics that we do on the MaliceCast Live, come back every Friday, hit that subscribe button. You'll see when we go live. TV talks have started up. Yesterday was Supernatural. There's more to come for CW shows and stuff like that. And Walking Dead will eventually be coming as well. If you guys want to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter at @mest_MaliceCorp. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us. We will see you guys next week to talk about a nerd icon that we will choose who it is coming up shortly. So have a wonderful one. Don't get too scared out there and be safe on this Friday the 13th. Thanks.